Hi Flosstube, my name is Pam. Welcome to my channel about cross stitch. If you are new, welcome. If you are coming back to watch me again, thank you. I appreciate it. I think I already mentioned we talk about cross stitch on this channel, everything I've done in the past week or so, everything I plan on doing for the next week. Since I have talked to you last, I have done a whole lot of sitting by my pool, which is not conducive to stitching. So I don't have as much to show you that I finished. Actually, I finished nothing. There are no finishes this week. I don't have as much to show you that I've worked on this week, but I have had a little bit of stash acquisition that's maybe slightly higher than normal, because yesterday my local needle workshop, the World in Stitches in Littleton, Massachusetts, opened up for its first in-person stitchy group since March 14th. So I went down there, and of course I had to get some things, and I had a great time, and I got to stitch with some great ladies. I had a really good time. I'm glad I went. I was a little nervous. Haven't done a whole lot of in-person people socializing since March. Actually, stitchy group at the World in Stitches back in March was the last thing I did with strangers, you know, people who aren't your family. And then it's the first thing I've done. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. If you are in New England and you have not been to the World in Stitches, you have to go. Randy is great. She is one of my favorite people. The shop is amazing. She's so helpful. She does not do, if you are not local, she doesn't do like online web ordering. She doesn't have a website like that, but you can absolutely call the shop and she'll be happy to help you out. So that's really all that's happening in my life, because pool and a little bit of stitching, a stitchy group. And that's it. So what did I work on? Let's get to that. What did I work on? We'll do that first, and then we'll do some plans, and then we will do what I've acquired since I've seen you last. All right. So first, did I say what today is? Today is Sunday, June 28th. So I think I talked to you last Saturday. So last Saturday was the day that I could start my solstice start. And it is, shoot, where the heck is the pattern? So on Saturday, I started Night Walk Down, Blue Flower. This is what it's, sorry for the glare. I hate taking them in and out if I don't have to. So I started this on Saturday. I am stitching this on 32 count. Hold on, I apologize for all the crinkle noises. 32 count vintage tarnished silver by Lakeside Linens. And I got a fair bit done. I didn't stitch it all on Saturday. I have worked on it throughout the week. So I got this is the top, hold on, I gotta look at it. Top left corner, top left. So I got some border done, and then I got some little swirly pin wheelie doodads done, and then I started on this big flower. So really happy with that. I did not want to put it down, but I did have other things I had to work on. But I'm sure I won't have an official plan for this coming up week for this project, but you know it's going to be coming out, because my plan is to have started it on the summer solstice and have it finished by the winter solstice. And if you want to join me with this, it didn't have to be a new start. It could be something you're already stitching, but if you want to join me on my solstice start, the hashtag for it is Night Walk Down Solstice Sal. I'll have it in the description below. And then Sunday, the Stitching Book Club Secret Garden Sal came out with its third part. So I got a little bit of work done on this. I don't have the chart printed to show you the picture of what the third part looks like, But what's gonna happen is there's gonna be some flowery stuff that looks a lot like this flowery stuff that comes up and over. And then, this is my favorite part, there's gonna be another little robin and it's gonna be over here. So I got all of this done. Most of that got done yesterday I stitched these little purple flowers on Sunday, and then all of that I got done at Twist for short, The World in Stitches, yesterday. So yeah, I'm still really loving this project. This is stitched on, by the way. It is 16 count chocolate raspberry. It's just, I think it's just swag art. It's not hand-dyed. I got that at 123 Stitch, but I think you can also get it at Stony Creek. I really love the color. I'm having a good time with that project. And then I got out my Hawk Run Hollow. So I'm doing a year at Hawk Run Hollow. The plan was to stitch a block every month. That got derailed in March. So I skipped over May and April, didn't finish March, and now I'm working on June. And I've already decided I no longer have a plan to actually finish the block every month because there's just too many other things I want to stitch on, and the blocks take me such a long time. Anyway, the June block, what did I do? Oh, my plan was to have the whole church stitched. So the whole church was supposed to be stitched. It didn't get done. It didn't get done. I could have tried to bang it out last night. I didn't want to. I'm done stitching it this week. So the church is not getting done because I probably am not picking this up for the rest of the month. So this is where June gets left. I should finish the church. Okay, scratch that. I have to finish the church before July because I'm just afraid I'll pick it back up next year and then I'll forget the color decisions I made because I did do a little bit of changing on the church. So the roof was supposed to be red. So it's supposed to be that weird orangey color that is called for in the DMC conversion, which I was not even using in the June block. And then I didn't really want a pink roof, so I decided to make it a black roof. And then same with all around the windows. The window frames were supposed to be that like orangey, cinnamony color, and I made them black. But I think I'm going to give it a red door. And by red, I mean this like darker pinkish raspberry strawberry color. So I want to get that done this week. I need to finish the stained glass windows. They are not, you're probably not going to be able to tell, but there are some empty stitches in there still. So they need to get done, the door needs to get done, and the steps. And then I can put it away. While I have it out, I'll talk about plans for this one. I do have a plan because July will have happened before I see you again. So July needs to, nope, that's not July. July needs to be started. But because I didn't do April, I have to stitch because I'm not a good counter. And I have to say, I have a hard time. I think Picture This Plus is a tighter weave. This 40 count is small. And I have a hard time counting it. So, which is why I'll show you. I feel a little spacey today, sorry. I literally just rolled out of bed so I could film this so that I could get out to the pool in an hour when my daughter comes over with her friend. So, if you've probably noticed that my black outlines, they're not fully crossed yet, because what I'm doing is I'm doing half one leg, and then on the 10th stitch it gets a whole stitch, and then I'm doing one leg for 9 stitches so that I can count. They're 92 stitches long, and I can't, when they're whole stitches, I can't see them to count them. Let me show you one that I finished. It honestly, for me, just looks like a black line, and I can't count the little individual stitches when they're done. So what I need to do to start July is to do the outline for the black outline for April, and then do the black outline for July. And we'll just skip May for now. So my plan before I see you again is to have those 2 blocks done. If I get anything in the middle of the block done, yay, but if not, that's my only plan, is to have those 2 outlines done. I hope that made sense. I feel like I'm always saying this. I don't feel like I made much sense today. I should have a plan. I should like write down notes so I know what I'm going to talk about, but I don't, because that requires forethought. And yeah, I have not been putting any forethought into these videos. I apologize. Okay, so one other thing I worked on this week was my Merry 25 stitching, which I am doing these little snow globe scenes. I apologize, my cat just came into the room, and baby kitty, I think I've talked about him before. He's very vocal, and if you hear a cat sounding like he's dying, that's my cat, baby kitty, who is not a baby, by the way. He's like 9 years old. But because he cries all the time, that's the name he got. So anyway, these are Winter Wonderland by Emma Congdon. So cute. So I have finished the church, and I am working on the sledding people. So, by the way, this is Ultimate Cross Stitch Christmas Magazine, volume 23, 2019. I think I got this at Barnes & Noble's at Christmas time. Mostly because I loved this right here, that chart. But then there's these. And I know I've mentioned this before when I've pulled out this project. I have 4 sisters and a mom and a dad, but my dad doesn't care about Christmas ornaments. And one of my sisters lives with my mom. So we do it doesn't have to be cross stitch. We do an ornament exchange every Christmas. And last Christmas I stitched them ornaments, and I have to stitch 4 because 3 of my sisters get one for their house, and then my mom and my sister that live together get one for their house. So I have to stitch 4, and so this year, this is what I'm doing. I'm not entirely sure how I'm gonna stitch them. The video tutorial I was going to use to finish them is no longer available, so I either have to remember it from watching it once, or I've got to figure something else out. And we all know I'm working on my crafty skills, but I'm not very good yet, so we'll see. And I'm not very good spatially, like trying to figure out how things fit into. None of that is a natural skill for me. So we'll see. I'll figure something out. So this is the one I already have done. And this is getting stitched on 32 count light blue Lugana. So that's the one I already have done. And then this is the one I'm working on. So on Thursday, I stitched snow. All the white snow that's in here got stitched on Thursday. I really only was able to get it out Thursday night. I was hoping to get a little more done. I will talk about it in plans. Again, I don't know why I think plans is going to be a separate section, because when I have the project out, I want to talk about it. Jolly July is coming up, and it will have started before I see you again. I have no idea what other people do for Jolly July. I know that my plan is to have at least this one finished and another one finished. So I will have 3 finished in total by July 25th. And then if that happens, I can start a new Merry 25 stitching, which I plan on it being Bendy Stitchy Designs, her Hildy. I didn't bring the chart out, but her Hildy that's under the mistletoe with her vampire boyfriend Brian, and it's a Christmas scene. And so that's what I'm planning on stitching my next Hildy. that will be my reward for having 3 of these complete. So I'm hoping that happens. This will be a big focus in July. They're not hard to stitch, but it's a lot of like little confetti. They're very pixelated, which isn't my usual thing. And these are kept in my Christine Slaughter Stitch All the Things project bag, which is one of my favorite things ever. Which every time I bring this project out and I get to show it, I will ooh and ah over it. I kind of really wish Night Walk Down was in it though. I might switch the project inside. Doesn't this look more like Night Walk Down? Yes, Night Walk Down should be in this project bag. I feel bad now. I'm feeling guilt for my Christmas ornaments. They're like, this has been our happy home. And then you're gonna rip me out. Oh my gosh, they're inanimate objects. It shouldn't matter. Okay, moving on. I'm like a crazy person. Okay, so that's what I worked on this past week. Hold on, coffee time. All right, so plans. I've got to get that church done, and I have to get those black squares, the outline, the borders, the black borders done for May and July. Those are the only things I have to do before I see you again. I did the other thing, sorry, my brain is working and then it's all out of order. The only thing I'm not showing that I did work on was my Granny Temperature Stitch Along, Granny Square Temperature Stitch Along by Carolyn Mannings. I am a few days behind. I'm struggling to stitch it every day. I never get a whole week behind. I never get more than 3 days behind, but I am probably 3 days behind, and I'm struggling to stitch them every single night in the summer. And I don't know if it's because it's lighter, longer. In the wintertime, like, we have dinner at 5 o'clock. And then I sit down and I stitch and there's nothing else going on in our lives. In the summer, I could still be out at the pool at 5 o'clock. I'm not entirely sure if we've reached our high temperature of the day. Like in the wintertime, 5 o'clock, I know we've already hit our high temp and I can safely stitch. So I seem to be letting a few days go by before I play catch up on that one. So I think what I'm going to do is I might only show it every 2 weeks, or I might only show it once a month and you can see what a whole month looks like all stitched up at one time. So I will show it next week at any rate because July will have started. Yeah, so I stitched on that and I am not showing it this week. So plans obviously is to stitch on that, to get the church done, to get the 2 black borders done on Hawk Run Hollow, and to start on my Jolly July stitching. Okay, whew, what did I buy? So excited about this. I watched Pam and Steph, Just Keep Stitching, mentioned that they were going to do the Berry Bowl sampler. I don't know when they're going to do it, but they're going to do it together. The Berry Bowl sampler it was a collaboration between the Scarlet House and Heartstring Samplery. So this was Stash that I bought. And the premise is that you stitch a side and somebody else stitches a side and then they get sewn together. And you can do it so that you each stitch both sides on 2 different fabrics, and then you both have a project with each of you having stitched a side. But my plan is to do this with my mom, and we'll only stitch 1/2 and then it'll go sewn together and it will hang in my mom's house. And then someday, hopefully not for a very long time, it will hang in my house. So that's the plan. My mom taught me how to cross stitch back. I mean, she tried to teach me a few times over the years when I was a child, but I never finished anything. My first finish was in 1996. I was 18 and I was stitching a project for my boyfriend. I really thought my boyfriend at the time would really like a framed finished cross stitch piece of a bear holding a balloon with our initials stitched in it. Anyway, he ended up being my first husband, and the project hung in our daughter's room. And I'm sure she's got it somewhere, and if I can ever dig it out, I will dig it out and show you guys. But anyway, it was bad stitching. You should have seen, sorry, I'm getting off on a tangent, but I carried black threads all over the place. And when I brought it to the framer, she kind of looked, it was a cross-stitch shop called The Picket Fence in Mansfield, Massachusetts, which no longer exists. And she looked at it and she was kind of like, oh. Actually, it might have not. It might have been, I think it's Hoops and Needles in Walpole, Massachusetts, might have been where we took it. Anyway, that doesn't matter either because that no longer exists. But it was bad. And you could see the black carried threads through my like ivory fabric. And at 18, I didn't care. Anyway, so my mom taught me how to cross stitch. She cross stitched a bit back in the 80s. She had a few framed pieces hanging around her house, but she really hasn't stitched since. So, I feel like I'm gonna have to reteach her. So it's gonna come full circle. I will be more like a reminding, but I do think I'm gonna have to like reintroduce her to the fun. But anyway, we're gonna start this week. So excited. So I was a little unsure because I wasn't sure if it had 1/1 stitching, which it does in here. There's 1/1 stitching in here, which I think I will do for my mother. And then I wasn't sure, and I know this sounds silly because I'm not crafty. So for you crafty folk, I'm going to sound like I am a ding dong, but I didn't know if we stitched this on Ada, like how easy it was going to be to sew together. Apparently it's fine. So I called, I didn't call my local needle workshop because she doesn't carry Picture This Plus. And I wanted to, and I'm sure she can order it, but I didn't want to wait. Like I wanted to start it this week. I wanted to do I want to do everything called for. So I called Sassy Jacks down in North Carolina, and it was my first time dealing with them. And I gotta tell you, it was if you have not ordered from Sassy Jacks, it was an amazing experience. They had both called for fabrics. We're doing it on 14 count because again, my mom hasn't stitched since the 80s and now she's in her 60s and her eyesight's not as good. So I wasn't gonna challenge her. So we got fabric, we got the 14 count Wren, Picture This Plus, and Heartland. And I love the little tags. I love the little tags. And they wrote how much margin, like how big it was, how much margin they gave us. Love this. And it came, by the way, it came in this cute little like once you got out of its package, it was wrapped up in little purple tissue paper with a little bow, and it was all taped down so nice. And it's taped to the little board. It was so fun to open. It was like Christmas time. And then they gave me all the hand-dyed floss that they had in stock for the project. And this is my favorite part. It's the small things, people. The small things that get me excited. They gave me a little list of the things they didn't have. So like I didn't have to go trying to figure out, okay, which ones did they give me? Which ones do I still need? They made me a little list of the ones I still need. Like, that is so amazing. I mean, I know that it probably didn't take them more than like 30 seconds to do, but I fully appreciated it. And then, by the way, this is their card, Sassy Jacks. Then, when you order from them, you get a little project sticker to stick on the back of your completed project. And then they give you one of these little squares so that if you are a corner starter, you can figure out how much you need to go in, which we will be using. I've really loved my Sassy Jacks experience. Sorry, I guess it kind of was a little bit of an experiment because it was my first time ordering from them. And this is going to sound really silly, but I'm in New England and we have, especially Rhode Island, we have, we've got an accent, and it's so fun to talk to somebody from down south with their southern accents. They're just so much nicer. So much nicer than our like harsher accents up here. Anyway, Can you tell? I'll definitely be ordering from them again. Then I needed, let me get this out of the bag. The next Hildy I'm gonna do has the border is stitched in a Threadworks variegated thread, and I needed it. So 123 Stitch didn't have it in stock, so I had to go searching for it. And this is 1086. So fun little Christmas colors that are going to go around the border of my next Hildy that I'm gonna stitch. And so I ordered that from Stony Creek because they had it in stock, and then this couldn't come by itself. So I did get a chart. I got, what is it? Letters from Nora, the Nora Corbett, H. Super cute. I have two nieces whose names begin with H. So I might stitch it twice, or I might let my sisters duke it out and tell me and fight over who's gonna get this one. I might do the other H, the one with the mermaid, the Nora Corbett with the mermaid for the other niece. I'm not sure. So cute, so cute. So I got that. I don't know when I'm gonna start it, probably this year, but yeah. And then I went to the World in Stitches yesterday and I got some things. So I got needles. I got some Pat's needles. I got 2 jars of 28s and 26s, and then one. I like to stitch using 28s on 40 count, but my mom is not gonna have embroidery needles. So that cat is getting on my stitching that I put on the floor. Foofanat, no. So one of these jars is gonna be for my mom, and one is for me. I only just discovered Pat's needles back in March, the last time I was at the World in Stitches, and I love them. So all new projects get kitted up with one of these. And then I needed some floss. Night walk down when I started stitching it. Originally, when I kitted it up, I didn't have fabric yet, and I thought I was gonna stitch it on 40 count, and I was perfectly happy with one skein of each color with 40 count, because you know your floss goes a lot farther when you're only stitching with one strand. But now I'm doing 32 count and I'm stitching 2 over 2. So when I started on that border, I was like, I'm not gonna have enough. So I picked up 2 more skeins of raw iron, which is this gorgeous deep like navy blue. That's so pretty. So I'm hoping this will be enough, and if it's not, I'll have to get more, but that is what it is. And then last week I was getting a little panicky that I wasn't gonna have enough green with Envy to finish Seeking Refuge. And so I snagged another skein. I'm hoping that the dye lot's the same. I don't know that it'll super matter on the vine. You're not probably gonna be able to really tell. But I got the original skein from the World in Stitches, and so it's probably a similar dye lot. Fingers crossed. And then I needed some more floss for the Berry Bowl sampler. So I got 2 skeins of each, so I don't have to break them apart to share them with my mom. So yeah, this one is so pretty. This is the Sanguine. Sanguine? I don't know how to say that. If you know, feel free to correct me. And then the Weeks That Works Gold. And then the Gentle Arts Grecian Gold. So there's still a few that we don't have, and I think I might just fill them in with the DMC conversion. And I'll probably just get those from Michael's. We'll see. We'll see. I'm a last minute decision maker. And then I got some charts because I wanted to. Yeah. So my plan next year, these are next year charts. I would like to stitch all of the cottage garden sampling. Wow. My mouth is not working. Cottage garden samplings. I wanted to say samplers and I knew that wasn't right. I want to do all their songbird series. So I got I already own 1, 3, and 5. So I got number 12. I love this one. This one is a dark-eyed Junco. I love Juncos. I love when they hop around, like when you seed your grass and they hop around on the grass and they're so cute. I love birds. So I got that one. And then this one might be my favorite. I got number 10. Is that a purple finch? That's a house finch. Purple finches and house finches, maybe they're the same thing, but it looks like what I would call a purple finch here. Love that. Love that. And then I got number 8. I don't know what that is. Oh, a rose-breasted grosbeak. We don't get a lot I don't see a lot of these. I love that little house. I mean, they all have a little house, but this one really sticks out for me. Love that. This one's a Baltimore Oriole, which when I was sitting out at the pool this week, there were 2 of them in the pear tree in my neighbor's yard, a male and a female, and they were so amazing. Like, they're so bright. It's hard to miss them. So I have not started kitting these up yet. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, I need 5 more. I'm missing 5. And I should start to kit up the first few that I'm going to stitch so that I'm ready to go in January. It's crazy to think about that at the end of June to start kitting up stuff for January. But like, we're halfway through 2020, folks. Halfway. So it's probably not too outside the realm of smart to start kitting things up for next year. It might be a little bit crazy, but mostly smart, mostly smart. And then, and I'm going to apologize, there's going to be a whole bunch of crinkle. Then I've got 3 things of fabric. Not for any particular reason, just kind of because it seems lately like everybody can, not everybody, but like somebody will throw out, hey, let's do a birthday style for so-and-so and stitch on whatever. Stitch on hummingbirds. And then I'll think, oh my gosh, how do people, I have no fabric stash. Like, I can't just say, oh, I want to start this tomorrow and go over to my fabric stash and find the perfect thing. I probably have like 3 or 4 pieces of fabric that don't have kitted up home. So I'm like, I need to start building up that stash. So I got 3 things that jumped out to me yesterday. This is like amazing. It's just a little scrap, but it's gorgeous. So this is 40 count and it's haunted, and it's by Seraphim Hand-Dyed Fabrics by Lori. So the World in Stitches, Randy carries Lori's fabrics, and they're gorgeous, and they are a delight to stitch on, by the way. So I loved this kind of dark grungy fabric. So I got a little scrap of that. I won't stick it back in the bag and make the crinkles. And then I wish that I had seen this when I was kitting up Night Walk Down. This one's super crinkly. Sorry. This is 32 count Petals in the Wind by Seraphim, and I'm going to show you her card. So in case you can't understand my horrible Rhode Island accent. And of course it's in like cursive, which might be hard to read. I'll link it below. I might not get the links up right away. I feel like I say this every week, but they will be up by tonight. Just it depends on when my daughter shows up with her friend and I have to hop out to the pool. So super pretty, gorgeous, really light purple with some pinks in there and some like tealy greeny blues. This is so pretty. I feel like it's showing up, maybe not, it's a little more lilac than it's showing up. I feel like all those like greens and blues are popping out, and you don't see them as much as in person as you do on camera. But yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do on it, but I love it. And that's the point. I just kind of wanted some different options hanging out in my fabric stash. And then lastly, I got, 40 count. This is 40 count. It's Seraphim, and it's called Randy's Blue. And I believe that Lori stitched this specially for Randy's shop, the World in Stitches. So it's a really pretty blue and white, kind of like a summer cloudy sky. Love that. So that made me happy. And that's it. That's all I have. I mean, this is probably the most stash you're ever going to see me have in a week. It's a lot, right? I guess I've seen more, and I've seen more Flosstubes with more stash, but that's a lot for me. So I will have to take a little bit of a buying break. And I think that everything that I want to start in July is going to be all kitted up at this point. So I don't think I need anything new, but I mean, want is a whole different animal, right? Okay, that's it for me. I hope you have an amazing week. I hope you have a great, no, I will see you, I may not see you before the 4th of July. I don't have a calendar in front of me. I film on my phone, so I have no way of looking that up right now. But I think that I may see you after the 4th of July. And if that's the case, have a great 4th. All right, I'm gonna go on a side story real quick before I leave you. Normally every year we have a huge 4th of July party because we've got the big in-ground pool in the back, and like that's the thing we do every year. We don't have like a big Christmas party or things like that. We do a big 4th of July party. And we're not doing it this year, which is smart. It's the right decision. But I am feeling a little bit sad about it. I don't know what my 4th will look like. Maybe it will rain and it won't matter, but I don't wish rain on anybody. I mean, I do if you need it, but not on the 4th of July. Anyway, so have a good 4th of July. I will see you next weekend. Stay well, stay safe, stay happy. Wow, my brain, I couldn't even figure out how to turn off the video. Okay, bye guys.